All right, here it
Can you
comes.
hear
No,
us,
just kidding.
Brandon?
I can
No,
hear you.
no,
Yeah.
it's okay. You're not on. You're live audio at least.
All right, cool. Yeah, I stream as well, so I'm not going to be porn bombing anyone. I'm just coming on and kind of checking out people's conversations. I just left one where they were kind of nuts, so I'm trying to find another good
We're nuts too.
conversation. What's that?
We're all crazy. It's okay.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's okay. They were a little extreme. I was listening to you guys' conversation for
What were you
about.
guys? What was your last conversation about before? Well, like we've been bouncing around topics. To be
Do you know
fair, we
they
just
wouldn't even have a
jumped out of religion.
conversation. They
What was it
they they
about?
would start
Let's.
talking and then just start yelling over each other. I'm like, I can't do any more of this. I think they.
Oh,
I don't know, man. It's always weird
to be
when they
fair,
do
it's
that.
it's hard to run like how many people were on the panel. It's hard to run a panel over like 4 or 5 people.
There was four people plus myself, and I wasn't saying a word. Well, for a
But
little
yeah,
while, I
some
wasn't
people
saying
are.
anything.
But yeah, some people are
Some
horrible
people
about
don't
not
know
like
when to
muting
shut up.
people and talking over. It's hard when I have the one screen up because you can't tell when other people are talking. But
Yeah.
fair.
But I was digging this conversation. I heard maybe like a minute of it, so I was like, oh yeah, let me come in and see what they got going on.
Yeah, it started with the idea that I was proposing that is it possible that the story that we've been fed about religion and about the fallen angels could possibly just be a story told by the winners and, not necessarily the story that would have been actually told because I've always been of the idea that the Ethiopian Bible has another version and older texts that have been copied for a long period of time. And it seems like Satan is not necessarily the adversary of God, but almost like part of God's plan, almost to
Hmm.
challenge humans and their existence, and also to challenge God as well, and not necessarily like an equal or an
Not in a
adversary.
bad
Like I
thing.
don't, I don't think of
Not in a bad
Satan.
thing, but in an actual, he was literally God created Lucifer to be somebody like him to prove that he was superior. Satan was
I just think
literally
the
supposedly the thing that
European
we think.
idea. I just think the
No, I
European
really agree
idea
with
is
that. I
that he's
really
like
agree
an
with it. It mentally clicks with me a little bit right there.
but don't you think that the European idea is that he's almost an antichrist? I don't think he's an antichrist.
No,
Mm-mm. I
the
don't think so.
Antichrist
If you're
is
asking me.
all. No, it's okay. The Antichrist is pretty simple. Our world is so super fucking greedy, and we're not going to be able to stop what's going to happen right now on this planet. We're not going to be able to stop what's coming because it's already set up to happen. It's already written in Revelation. It's creepy as fuck. I wish we could stop it, but we can't. But it's going to, and it's so set up. It's so creepily set up with that mark of the beast shit and all the stuff. It's like enslave your mothers. It's already been there since literally since we've been enslaved in front of the TVs when we were younger in the 80s. You know, I mean, that little idol that we sat there and watched YouTube, and I mean, not even YouTube, there were boob tube shows, and now we're
I
in
think
another era, in a whole
I,
nother era. As soon as the whole world is encapsulated by this same exact shit, but the good news has got to be preached first. What is the good news? Nobody knows the good news.
I think there's a lot of thoughts coming around religion right now, especially with what's going on
No, no, the good news
with
about religion, and not religion, but the good news about the end of the Bible. I mean, that's the whole thing
well,
we should be talking about. Is that going to happen?
that's not necessarily good news depending on what fraction you're in. I mean, that's why I was
Did
actually
you
about
read
to
the?
say,
Where did you stop reading the end of the
hold
Bible?
on one second, Premier, let me finish the thought. Um, if
Okay.
if you're talking about like what's going on with Israel and the fact that they might have goals as a country, but not necessarily as the Jewish religion, I think people are battling that a lot. As what Bibi Netanyahu uh, wants the same as what the Jewish people would want that we would describe in the Bible? And is it
See, now you're stuck in that.
are we conflating religion with nationalism nowadays, or who is the chosen people of God? I think there's a lot of questions that are
No,
arising
chosen
right now
people in God is
with what's
nobody
going
better
on.
than anybody. Where everybody's chosen. We have a choice. You're chosen, and you're
In the
chosen.
in the
You're
Bible,
chosen. Everybody's
okay, so let
chosen.
me give you a direct quote. In the Bible, in Revelations, what does it talk about that Christians are supposed to do for the Jewish people? What are they supposed to do? Protect the fall of what?
Protect the fall of what? They don't protect the fall of anything.
There's something that happens with the Jewish people that Christians are supposed to be mindful of, and
Yeah, it's the fall of Israel.
it actually has something to do with the coming of the end times.
Yeah, that's after the war of Israel. The war of the North attacked Israel. That's pretty much kind of like what's going on right now.
So why what is what I'm talking about relevant to what's going on right now?
But there's a lot of shit that's going on with the Bible prophecy stuff. That's the crazy
But
thing.
but my question is,
I mean,
with the
yeah, I
Bible
mean,
prophecy
honestly,
stuff,
I
is it the same? Is it the same as what the country that calls themselves Israel is claiming right now? Is it because it is an end of times kind of thing going on, or is it because Bibi Netanyahu has things going on that he wants to
I don't know.
accomplish
I
as
mean,
well?
could you explain? I'm really not. I'm not really aware of who Ben Netanyahu, whoever
Bibi
that guy
Netanyahu
is.
is
I'm sorry.
the person that's in charge of Israel right now.
Yeah, it's
But the
prime.
problem with what
Oh
was
yeah,
that?
that's right. That's right.
No,
I forgot.
Um, uh, my only problem is Israel is the only example that we have of a religion and a country, and representing itself as one. I've actually had a guest on
I agree
recently
with you,
who I did an interview
and
with.
I guarantee you,
Her
he's
husband.
thinking the same thing you are,
But
and
I
so
had
am
a
I.
guest on recently, and I was trying to explain the difference between like an American's view of our government, and she explained to me theirs. Her husband was Mossad, and they follow their government wholeheartedly, and they think it's 100% what the Jewish people want. I said I don't support what the CIA does. I don't support everything that our government does, and I have a separation between the two. I think it's interesting when religion and a government are attached to each other, and Israel is the only example that we have of that.
You know what? You know what really sucks is I really think that if we would have never if we would have never switched between church and state, because we used to be a nation under God, and as soon as we split states and stuff, we were a nation under God, and as soon as we did that, our country started falling downhill.
well, I
I
mean,
mean,
separation of
look
church
at
and
it.
state
Look at
isn't
the
what.
stats tell you this.
Yeah, separation of church and state isn't what most people say it is. It just means that the government can't control the church for the most part. It doesn't mean you can't, pray in a school. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean both
That's
those
stupid
things.
though.
But to
But
address
that's
Israel
stupid.
real quick, they used to have way back in Bible times kings that did not follow God, and they were essentially reprimanded for it. So if their leadership
Cutting
now
out.
isn't
Dang it.
following God, then obviously you're allowed to say, "Hey, they're not doing good." If you're somebody that believes in, if you're a Christian and you want to say like, "Hey, I don't like talking bad about Jews," well, you don't have to. And I'm a Christian as well, by the way. But you
No,
don't
you
have
don't.
to. But you can disagree with something the government does, if that's kind of I'm on the end of this conversation. If that's kind of what you're getting at, is you can separate the two of bad government policy and don't hate Jews kind of deal.
But no, what I was thinking, like, go
And
on.
from an outsider's perspective, I believe with you. I agree with you, Brandon. But I guess from the few people I've talked to that live in Israel, that like I said, it's very anecdotal. The people I've talked to, but they 100% believe their government does no wrong.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's only anecdotal from the two people I've talked to but one of them, the family member was former Mossad, and she's like, "Oh, it's been 30 years. I'm allowed to talk about it now." I didn't even like realize, like, I just actually released this interview on my channel. Yeah, it got really complicated when we started. Like, I was actually reaching down because I wanted to talk about Robert Maxwell and the connection with Jeffrey Epstein and Kathleen Maxwell, the daughter of Robert Maxwell. And yeah, it got a little complicated, and she didn't want to admit that Ghislaine Maxwell or Jeffrey Epstein might have had Israeli intelligence connections, even though Robert Maxwell did, and he got a Israeli burial. I don't know. It got really complicated, and then they had to leave, and could no longer talk to me about what I was talking about. But like I said, it's anecdotal. But the few people that I've talked to are very much wholeheartedly supporting their government and their decisions.
I got you.
No, I don't really like my government's decisions. I don't like the court's decisions. I don't like a lot of decisions. But all I was saying is, when it comes to decisions and understanding, I mean, we gotta really like boil down to the straight up
I'll be
facts
right
that
back.
we
Sorry.
have to ask God. We have to boil down and ask ourselves what is real and what is not real. We have a conscience. We have tools at our disposal that we know did not come from man. You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
did not come from freaking some piece of sand. They didn't. They come from a higher power, because you don't really just get this type of discernment without a spirit, without a understanding. So if any questions you have, you can easily discern those. So for what I usually do, and that's like, I'm not going to sit here and argue about your points. I mean, your points, the points about all this other stuff, I think are moot. Moot is in a point that they're not. They are extremely relevant. Don't get me wrong, and they're eye opening to the point that, yeah, we're corrupt in a whole bunch of different ways, and we got the CIA up our ass. We got all this lack of privacy, and they think that they can just like control us. The whole point is even Ronald Reagan yelled about the fact that anytime the government says that you're here to help, that's a red flag, and they're always here to help. And that's a red flag, right? Because they're right here ready to help. They're giving us stimulus checks and all sorts of stuff. Oh, yeah. Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Dude, if Ronald Reagan was still alive, he'd be rolling in his fucking grave right now. I guarantee it.
the actor Ronald Reagan.
No, Ronald Reagan, the president, when I was born into this, 1980, he was like the second term president right before Nixon.
Yeah, the actor. I know. I know who you're talking
Not
about.
the act. Well, they're all actors. You don't think Donald Trump was an actor? Oh wait, he
You
was
know
an
what?
actor. He played in Home Alone.
Time out. Time out for a minute. You
Every
know what?
fucking actor. Everybody's an actor.
Do you know what Ronald Reagan's career was before he was a president?
No, I
He was
don't
an
know. I mean,
actor.
you could. He was
That's
an
correct,
actor, was he
Brandon.
not?
He was an actor. He is one of the few presidents that was an actor, and that's why I said it. I wasn't trying to make
Why
a
is no great? Why
phys-
and then new? That's so insane. How the hell is Nowinski from fucking Russia
well, is it?
fucking an
But
actor?
it's
Why are
interesting.
all
It's
these actors
interesting.
becoming fucking presidents?
It's
Because
interesting
they can
that the
fucking they
two
can
the two
act like
actors
they
that
don't
you
know
You
pointed
guys
something.
have
out.
a good one. I'm sorry. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Brandon.
Thanks for letting
Uh,
me on. See you.
oh yeah, anytime. The two actors that you pointed out, Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan, actually both had the same quote about making America great again. That was both of their
No,
slogans.
he copied him, and he even copied him on purpose, because he has a religious sense of Ronald Reagan. It's
They're
not like
both
he did it
actors.
on purpose.
They're both
Well,
actors.
they're both. I
Why
didn't
not?
know they were. I did not know Ronald Reagan was an actor. That's kind of interesting, because that's like Lewinsky was an actor. I mean, because literally they call it when you're, because I just like put in in a federal fucking civil rights claim. And you know what they call anybody, even the president? You have to call them state actors in the federal claim. And then somebody said, "Oh, they're gonna laugh about that," and I'm like, "Well, it's the fucking truth. They're gonna laugh about the fucking truth because that's what it is. It's the fucking
It's
truth. They're state fucking actors. They're state actors. Anybody operating, even if it's the president of the United States, they're a state or government actor, an actor. They're acting upon the government, and it doesn't mean that they're a fucking film actress or an actor doing in a film. They're acting on part of the government or a government agency, and that's how you sue them. That's what you say. They're an actor. That's what you call them. It's a fucking fact. It's not no fucking laughable stock. It's a fucking.
that's why
It's an
that's why I,
actual legal
that's why I
term.
stated it was his previous career. Just so you knew the difference.
Well, it doesn't matter, man. You can't fucking. Nobody can fucking demoralize a legal term and make it laughable, because somebody's trying to demoralize the fucking government to make it laughable. That's trying to laugh. That's exactly what George Soros does. He doesn't go after countries to destroy them. He goes after how the laws are enforced.
What do you think George
That's how he
Soros has
crumples
done?
countries. George Soros, he'll fucking go after a city or a country and make them not follow the law. That's how he destroys the city or the country.
Do you have any?
He basically beat him up.
Hey,
I love
Jacob, I'm
asking.
gonna
I have no
head out.
evidence.
I'm
I
gonna
have
get
no
some sleep. I got a busy day in the morning.
All right, have a good night, GP.
Night,
You have a
guys.
nice day. You take care. Nice
Um,
talking to you. I love your dog.
quick question, because I always ask people that bring up George Soros. Can you show me or tell me about any evidence of George Soros doing any of this?
Fuck, the look on his face.
The look on his face.
The fucking look
I
on-
know
the look
I
on
know
his
what George Soros did when the Nazis were around, and I know what he did during that time. But usually, when people make claims about George Soros, they usually have no evidence of anything. They just go, "Oh, it's George Soros. It's
No,
the dark
I'm
figure."
sure I didn't know I was in the court of law. I can find evidence.
No, just
But
anything,
I mean,
just
there
anything.
is evidence. There is evidence. I'm sure there's evidence. It's everybody has evidence. It's just I wasn't in the middle of the court of law. I thought that my testimony is like, hey, I heard this and I seen this. I testify that I
I
seen
haven't
this
seen.
motherfucker
What have you
donate
seen?
that. I
So if
seen
you've
him
seen it,
and it said his
what
name.
have you
I know.
seen him do?
Yes, I see.
No, what have you seen him do?
I seen him go for. He donated money to a freaking Lives That Matters fucking thing that made no sense just to cause riots.
Who do you donate
George
to?
Soros.
No, I said who do you donate to? What was the Life That Matters place? What are you talking about?
Black Lives Matter
George Soros donated to
foundations.
Black Lives Matter.
It wasn't even to that. It wasn't. He didn't even donate directly to that organization. He hid it through another organization, from my understanding, and I can't remember what that is. So if you can figure that out, let me know. But he donated the money to another organization that then donated that money directly to the exact sum, to almost the exact sum, because they got the fee. They got their fucking fee, and it went towards the Black Lives Matters donations. Anyways, that's the way I heard it went down. Now, I heard this from this fake news media, which we can't trust left and right. So now we're going to have to believe Donald Trump. It's all fake news. They never tell us anything true. So I don't know. I mean, all I can say is, man, we're living in the land of fucking confusion.
Yeah, no, I agree with
And
that.
you know what? And all I gotta say is, man, the only thing we need to realize is we don't need no religion. We don't need nobody to teach us. All we need is the Spirit of God and the love of God in our lives, and to don't let our own pride to lead us to our dome, or to our doom. That means that you're gonna just rely on your own understanding. Let God lead you. He will lead you gracefully and peacefully. You know, don't. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, that's technically the only thing I gotta say about this bull. It's not even bull. It's just it's hard to fucking filter. So it's like you're going through a fucking windshield wiper of bullshit.
No, I get it. And half the shit that you're fed through the media, and that's the same thing we were talking about with religion. I think all of it's kind of put through this filter and fed through us a certain
Exactly.
way that you're supposed to believe.
You're supposed to believe it and take it as a grain of salt and not question it. And I think that's fucking bullshit. No, you should question everything and anyone, and that's the ones that says right there. If you read the Bible, any Bible, it tells you exactly what to do. Seek the truth. You can't seek the truth if you don't ask what you've been told in the Bible is true.
Can you still hear
Am I
me?
wrong? I can hear you. But am I wrong? You can't seek truth unless you know the truth, or unless you seek for it earnestly and you like want to know it. If you really want to know the truth, you'll find it.
Yeah, but you
Or
have to
you
seek it.
reject it and try to cover it up. You're like, oh no, I won't get no YouTube views for that if I tell them that. It's like no, honestly, I'll tell them whatever I know is true. That's it. I don't care about the views. I don't care about the donations. God takes care of me, man. I don't really need it because honestly, this money is going to be obsolete at any moment just due to let's just you realize this. You realize that the history repeats itself like
Yeah.
ancient China, ancient fucking things. I mean, and it's always been within 300 years. Within 300 years, the economy crashes and everything goes fucking wacko, and a new world power steps up. How close do you think we are to that?
Probably inside of 100 years. I
I
think
would
the
agree
U.S.
with you
will.
too.
I think the U.S. will collapse within the next 100 years. I don't know what the next superpower will be, but I would say the U.S. will collapse in the next 100 years.
I agree with you too. And once your superpower collapses, that takes away all your power.
I mean,
Once the
I
economy
just think I
collapses,
think a lot of people. I think a lot of people will die in their lifetime thinking that their country was the superpower that lived on. You know how many people probably died in Rome, thinking that Rome lived on forever. You know?
and they died for their country, just like United States, and that
Yeah.
was thousands of years ago.
Yep.
So I understand exactly. I mean, that's a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people just think in the now, in the recent, and they don't forget. They forget about how fucking hard everybody's fought for peace. Everybody's fought for God, and how many people died for religion. For religion, not for God, but for their religion for the past fucking thousands of years. Nobody's really died for, no, I mean, God killed them. They didn't die for, but nobody's died for their God. They died for their religion. They died for their understanding. They died for their leaders' understanding. God's the only one that's perished people in war and no pain, no suffering, no nothing, in my opinion. He literally just went whoosh to dust you are now, period. Not to dust you will be, to dust you are now.
Well, I'm gonna wrap up,
He's like,
man. We're about 3.5 hours in. I'm gonna have to
I
wrap
understand.
it up.
You're probably getting prepared. Where are you at? Like, are you in like? Let me guess. You're in Kentucky.
I'm in the Chicagoland area.
What?
I'm in the
Chicago?
Chicagoland.
You're
Yeah.
in New York? You're in New York? Damn, that's where I was born.
No.
Holy crap.
The Chicagoland area.
Where's that at?
Outside of Chicago.
Where the fuck Chicago at? What Chicago?
Chicago is one of the biggest cities in all of the United States.
Is it New York?
There's more violence in Chicago than there is in all of New York. We had more violence than all of LA
Detroit?
last year.
Detroit?
No,
Connecticut.
Chicago. We had more violence than all of Los Angeles last year.
What state? What state?
It's in Illinois.
Illinois is well, damn, that's at least that's like 1,000 miles
I
away
can't
from
believe
you.
you've never heard of Chicago. That is such a weird thing.
No, but Chicago's also there's a Chicago, New York. There's a Chicago fucking
No,
there's
there's not a
Chicago
Chicago,
everywhere.
New York. There's a Chicago Bulls that play that Michael Jordan's from. That there's the Chicago Blackhawks. There's the Chicago Bears. And they're all
I
from the
know,
same place.
but I thought that there's like a fucking Chicago everywhere.
No, they're all the same place.
Wow.
There's only
Illinois,
one
all in
Chicago.
Illinois?
Yeah, the
And it's all in
mob,
Illinois.
the mob that started unions started in Chicago. Gosh, man, there's so many. Barack Obama's from Chicago.
No, I thought he was from freaking some other country.
But on
really
that
thought he
note,
was from England.
yeah, you should look up Chicago. Learn a
Well,
lot.
anyways, you already told me about it, so I don't have to do that. But
Oh, man,
now I
I'm
know that
surprised
there's only one Chicago. I'm going to say Illinois, Chicago, Illinois. So now I know Illinois.
It's
so this way I
it's
won't
one of the
forget.
biggest. It's one of the
It'd be
biggest
like
cities.
Illinois.
It's one of the top 3 biggest cities in the country.
Top 3. That's great.
Yeah. Like thinking of New York and Los Angeles,
Interesting.
it's probably one of the biggest 3 in the country.
Well, I never knew that. All right. Well, I learn something new every day.
Well, you have a good night, man.
I hope
I'll
you
talk
get
to you
some
soon.
sleep. You too. Take care.
Yep. Later, man.